How have you guys been? I mean, it's been a year and a half, 2 years pretty much. You know, everything's been crazy, and now things are back open. We have things going on. You excited to be out here doing these things right now?
Very excited. Glad to be out, glad to see all the fans again, and get back at it.
Yeah, you know, for me, it's just Thom knows that we do a lot of projects together on this, and it's just an honor to be part of this. You know, I do not have the same resume as Thom. I'm just fortunate to do something that took off, and I get to, you know, go on his coattails, so to speak. So yeah, it's good to see y'all.
Well, you were speaking of improv earlier, and I think was that in some way, shape, or form like how you were discovered for?
No, we were talking about Derek Mears, who played the last Jason.
Yeah.
His passion is improv.
No, but I mean, how did you get the part of Jason Voorhees?
You know,
how did that come about?
I was real lucky. I mean, I always tell people luck has a lot to do with some things. And running a nightclub in Los Angeles and having a hypnotist on a Thursday, just did a skit on the stage with subjects, y'all. And the people that were shooting the cameras were from Real Effects. And they said, well, why don't you do a skit with Jason? We've got Ted White's wardrobe, we'll put CJ Big Ass in it, and he'll come through the screen and scare the subjects, and the rest is history. Because the special effects people that then did the special effects for Part 6 were just impressed with the statue, how I stood, and thought, we're going to cast you as Jason. And, you know, everybody's heard that story. We're going to make you a model. We're going to, yeah, right, whatever. Now, we got to be fair, it wasn't my calling. It wasn't what I was in Los Angeles for, but you know, a couple, 3 months later, I got that phone call to go to Paramount Studios and meet with Frank Mancuso Jr. and went through a process. I was the second choice gentleman who is the paintball wizard, I call him, where you get shot with paintball.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's a little thicker than I am, and most people just think I'm wearing padding, just a little bigger. Unfortunately for him, you know, the appearance that they were looking for didn't meet the first daily that came back, and you know, I picked up the ball and continued to run for the touchdown.
And then, how about for you, Tom? Like, what was the process on getting part?
For me, I was just you know, kicking around LA as a young actor. Just finished Return of the Living Dead, so that was good, I guess.
Huge fan base on that.
Just yeah. So went in for the casting directors and read for them, and they called me back. And then went and met CJ's kind of the same experience with Frank Mancuso Jr. and his wife did a soundtrack on it. And Thom was in the room. I found out later. You go in as an actor, you don't know who's in the room. You just see bodies. You don't know who anybody is.
Yeah.
I just did my thing, and they called back the next day and said I got the part. That was it.
It's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. But you're also recently been working on something. I don't know. Maybe you cannot talk about it, but don't hike in the
alone.
Never hike alone. That's it. Never hike alone.
Don't ask the question you already know the answer to.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but I've noticed, and I've seen a few of them. They're fun.
They're great. The first one,
fan film.
Yeah, the first one came out 3 years ago, and I understand why you don't think you're supposed to talk about it, because no one talked about it. Even when we screened it for the reviewers, the people who reviewed the movie, we asked them not to talk about the fact that I was in the movie. So we wanted the fans to have that reaction to it. So it was great. So we opened it at Telluride Horror Film Festival. And it was a great setting, and the response was great, and it's got, you know, over 2.5 million views to date. It's going good. And then we did the prequel, which takes place before Never Hike Alone, which is called Never Hike in the Snow. And we brought back Vinny Gustafaro, who was the deputy in Part 6, because he survived, because I locked him in the cell, so he was able to survive and come back. And he's all white-haired now. He's the sheriff now. He's not the deputy anymore in town. And so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we're talking about doing Never Hike again, and hopefully in September.
Awesome. Yeah, I know, it's the fans.
It's been fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Oh, that one, yeah. Never Hike Alone set the bar really high for fan films, future fan films, because the production value is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I had already seen, before I got involved in a weird way, but they had already shot half of it, and I said, yeah, I definitely want to be a part of this, because the production value was just amazing. So we figured out how Tommy Jarvis could possibly fit in to the script that they already had.
It's awesome. I look forward to seeing
And
it.
Vincent DeSantis, the writing director, is just a huge fan, and it's going to be a huge success in Hollywood
Good.
as a director.
Do you guys have any stories you would like to share with everybody here? You know, like what was it like? Is it a grueling process filming like Friday the 13th? Is it just wear you down on either side?
It depends on the conditions and the weather, and you know, it's not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is. It's a lot of downtime because they have to move the camera and have to be lighted and stuff like that. But if it's raining and stuff like that, I remember coming out of the grave. CJ grabs me and I've got these heavy boots on, and we had to shoot that a couple times. And I ended up getting water on my knee for like the next 5 years, and then I just thought I would always have it, you know, have the aches and pain of that little scene as a reminder of him. But eventually it went away for some reason, so I was happy about that. But it does get, it can get grueling, and it depends on the shoot and how much dialogue there is. I mean, I've done a movie, we shot one movie, an Albert Pugh movie, we shot in 3 days, and it was all dialogue. And I was literally, the camera was here, all right, shooting me from the head, and the script was, because you cannot retain anything in your brain because you're so fried, you're so burnt out. So it wasn't like that, but it does happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure on CJ's side it was probably a little more grueling with all the.
Yeah, all the dialogue.
Yeah, I got a lot of
All the
dialogue.
yeah.
You gotta find the character.
I always defend
It was a little
myself.
gassy.
I always defend myself because I challenge anybody to put a hockey mask on and show anger, curiosity, without saying anything. You got to show the physical structure. So, but from the drooling perspective, would be of course just being beat up and set on fire and underwater all the time, and, going through walls and stuff. And to be fair, I'd never done it before. I wasn't a stunt man. I was like not even half a moon as close to Tommy when it came to the experience. I was just, hey you, yeah. You want me in a movie? Sure. So I was, I didn't know any better. I thought when they, said to step back into the flame and let it light you in, that was what everybody did. You set yourself on fire in the movies? But I was very fortunate because they took good care of me.
Yeah.
They did, and I got to work with, the professionals, Tom, and the people I worked with really stood out. And
the production value was amazing for film. It's great. Top notch.
Yep, and I learned a lot from it. For me to go on just from that position and be able to do it, say 3 decades later, hey, how you doing? Lucky. Like I said, you just never know what you're going to accomplish unbeknownst to yourself. It's true. Decade, 2 decades, 3 decades later.
That's awesome. So no injuries then is what you're saying. You had no injuries on set, solid.
No, I was cut up a little bit in my stomach here because when we were fighting in the, not cut up, but just edged. We were fighting in the boat, I had to lean into it. I wasn't wearing anything but wardrobe, so it's just like if you were trying to jump up on the pool all the time, you get a little
2 or 3 takes.
It wears on you. But no, I was, you know what? We could talk about how I feel, 30 years later.
I got an injury. My chest was, when the sheriff, David Hagan, took me, and he was kicking me out of town, and he threw me up on and he was saying, he kept hitting my chest, I couldn't get him. And I had bruises all over my chest. So that look on my face was real. It wasn't like me having to act anything, because I was pissed off. Bruised up. For the 3rd or 4th time, it was just like, you can't take it.
And you don't really realize what he's saying. I mean that factually. I did a fight scene a year and a half ago with Vincent, and he had to throw me and I had to throw him into a tree. And you just can't go, hee. You gotta hit the chest, and you gotta try not to hurt the person. But bouncing off that tree as many times as I had to do for each take, and sliding down the back of a tree when I'm getting knifed, it's a real tree. You just can't like whoosh. You gotta let your body slip and slide down a friggin' tree that's this big around. Your back gets cut up, just like he's talking. You don't mean to do it, but sometimes adrenaline kicks in. And guys, it's always the testosterone. We think, But it can be, you can hurt somebody.
I did another movie where I got a knife in the head, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I drop out a frame trying to grab the knife? So I said, so they set up a mattress in the rehearsal, and it went great. So, okay, we're starting to film it. So we film, you take the knife in the head, or you fake it. You know, they cut to the, someone throws it, you go like this. It's already in your head, because it's already glued onto your head. So I take it in the head, and I'm falling back, and I'm trying to grab it, to try to pull it out of my head. This is my idea. So I fall back, and I do a dead man drop. Right? I just fall out of frame. Just flat, I missed the mattress. And you know it's bad when the stunt guy goes, ooh!
And you know the actor's going, not saying a word because they got no air left in their lungs. It does happen. If the adrenaline going, I mean, you lose where you're at space-wise.
One extra step is the match.
Big difference.
Yeah. Is there any other projects like upcoming that you can talk about, or either you guys working on you'd like to share? It's not.
Well, he just finished The Vengeance 2.
Yeah, I mean, I did The Vengeance 2 where I played Elias Voorhees, Jason's father. So
he plays his own father. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Sexual, right?
You know, it was kind of fun because I grew a beard for 3-4 months, and they put a straggly wig on me, and it was an interesting opportunity. It was, you know, I got a chance to have some fun again, throwing people around, which, you know, I found out really isn't the brightest idea. As you get older, you maybe should just try to speak rather than throw people, because you don't intentionally, but as soon as you get into that combat situation, you get a little more reactionary. And then a year and a half ago, before the pandemic, I got a chance to work with Dee Wallace. We did a film called 13 Fanboy, and Corey Feldman was in it, Ian Otter, Laura Parkinson. So, I mean, for me, that was a great opportunity for the first time to work with them. And then 2 years ago, I did The Vengeance 1. So, just again, lucky. It's not a passion or it's anything that I would hang my hat on, but it's fun to go out and do it. If Tom called me and said, hey, you want to do a project, you know what? Why not? I mean, I'm retired now. I've got the time, the space, and I enjoy just having fun and seeing my friends, people that I've met or meet in the future. So, simple projects.
We're doing a lot of conventions for the rest of the year, and already have some set up for next year, amazingly. And then shooting something in 10 days called Final Summer. It's almost a knockoff of Friday the 13th. There's a lake, there's a camp, people are dying. They're trying to blaze it on some mass murder, but they have their own motives for doing it. And then I'm doing another one called, which I'm really excited about. It's called, what's the name? But I'm really excited about it.
He's so excited because I'm the damn man.
I'm shooting that one in September.
Awesome. That's good. You want to open it up to anybody have some questions on the floor? There we go.
This is for Tom. Was it really different working on Return of the Living Dead versus working on Friday the 13th?
It wasn't the fact that Friday had more money, so the production value, there was more people around, and then Return, it was a lower budget, just more of a feel. But the smart thing that we did for Return was, or Dan did, the director, he let us all rehearse for 2 weeks, which is unheard of, and no one rehearses when you're making. So he had the insight to spend some of the money in the budget for all the kids to rehearse for a couple of weeks. So that was really helpful. It moved the movie along because, you know, a lot of that stuff is just one take and then they're moving on.
Yeah, I got it for both Tom and CJ. So looking at the whole Friday the 13th franchise, so if there was another installation or film that you weren't in, which one would it be?
That we weren't in?
Yeah.
Another one.
Well, I thought part 6 was the only one they shot. Was there another one? I thought it was just called part 6 for, there's others.
I guess you're the world.
Actually shocked. I gotta go do some research.
Put him in
now.
Jason Takes Back.
I will tell you, for me personally, Tom may or may not know this, but Ken Hodder, who played 7, 8, 9, 10, have been in panels, and I was originally slotted for part 7. based on Frank Mancuso said just use the guy we used before because they were satisfied. John, that's where they were going originally, and then Kane had done so much work with John, he's a horror fan himself. So they had to, John had then go to Frank Mancuso and make the change of the request so that he could do part 7. And to be fair, you know, the 7, 8, 9, 10 that Kane has done, I would have, number one, never been out there. Kane has been a huge ambassador for the franchise, in my opinion. He does conventions every other weekend, if not more, and promotes what his work has been. And he's, like Tom's got a resume a mile long, but just what he did. But I think if I had a choice, I'd go to 7 just to carry what 6 was into 7 physically. I think they had a chance to do it differently now, thinking back and watching Harry Potter in different series. They probably do 2 or 3 of them at once and get them in the can, and then move on with similarities because of Jason would be characterized as like he did, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sometimes I think you lose when, if Tommy Jarvis comes back in a film, it needs to be Thom Mathews because he wasn't whacked. If you bring an impersonator, we're all going to know it's not Tommy Jarvis. It doesn't have to be young Tommy Jarvis, it can be Tommy today, you know. I think the fans would appreciate that because they connect with Tommy Jarvis being Tom. So the fans are smarter, I think, now than they used to be. And and this is an opinion, in '86, top movie was Top Gun. You know, Friday did well, I mean, it really did, but it was a B/slasher horror movie, whatever you want to call it. Again, I go back to being fortunate. Like his first film, you guys are still talking about it, and it's iconic. I bet you had no idea. No idea the magnitude it would have 35 years later. So you just never know. You know, it's one of those things you never know. You got to put your heart and soul into it, and if you get lucky, as I said earlier, it becomes part of you know, movie history.
It's like I tell my wife. She says, "Honey, we got to win the lottery." I said, "Honey, we're not going to win if we don't play." So we got to play. So we got lucky enough to play this hand, and it's still going because of the fans. Unbelievable fans that are out there all over the world. You guys have no idea. There's so many fans all over the world. Brazil, I mean Argentina, over in Europe. It's amazing. I've been to a convention in Germany. We should do one in Tokyo, in Japan.
Yeah,
pretty huge over there. You want to go to Tokyo? Yeah!
Hell yeah!
But Tom's right. You know, we're going to Manchester, both of us, in England, in October. And it's, if not the largest, it's one of the top 2 largest in England. Tens of thousands of fans. And the attendance is amazing, not to mention the talent that shows up as part of, you know, signing the autographs. It's just phenomenal.
That's huge. That's awesome, man. I think, you know, it's all shot in the 80s, it's an American film, but the longevity and the reach that these movies have.
Yeah.
I mean, every kid growing up, you know, you're always watching those movies, and that's why, like, it's one of those, you know, the horror, the way it gets into your brain as a child, it's like it just grows with you throughout your life.
And now they have the game too, the video game.
Yeah.
The younger kids who shouldn't have seen the movie yet.
They see the great movie.
But they can play the game. They can play the video game, and then when they get older, 13 or 14, they can watch the movie. To continue it, so they can watch the series.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the beauty of it, you know, it just keeps on lasting. People talk about it, show their children, show their children, keep you guys going, you know.